Hello everyone, welcome to the Remote PE Teacher YouTube channel. I want to show you today how to make a Google form. Take a look at what I have as our Ready to Work scale. The Ready to Work scale is included in my Google Drive subscription, so if you're interested in not making this on your own, but just stealing from me like I steal from other people, feel free to come in and take a look at this. It's $10 via Venmo or Cash App. The information's in my YouTube channel header. But I'll show you how to make your own, and then you can decide whether you want to make your own Google form for your own purposes, or you want to just steal some of mine. So this will be in there, Ready to Work scale. You'll just have to go in and make a copy of it and put it in your Drive folder. Okay, so first things first, I have a custom Google form header that I have made. It's really simple to go on. If you just Google it, and I'll show you right here, Google form header size, header image size, and it will tell you right here it's 16 to 400 pixels. Okay, and so you would just go in like we did with the Bitmoji classroom earlier. You would go into Google Drawings and make your canvas that big, and then you can, this is exactly what I did with the Bitmoji classroom minus the hot links in it. All I did was take this gym background, I put my Bitmoji in here, and then I put this word art in here, Ready to Work scale. Okay, so explaining what we're creating today, the Ready to Work scale is something that we can use not only remotely, but with our students to check in with them to see how they're doing today for our workouts. And so this is just a way, I think is an excellent way during maybe quarantine or remote work to go through and check in with your students how they're ready to work. Basically, what we have is 10 questions on a 5-point scale. And depending upon how the students answer those, that tells us how they're doing that day, whether they're actually ready to work or ready to work out. When we're in the physical classroom, I can use my powers of observation, my eyes, my ears, what I see and how I interact with the student to feel out how they're doing that day. But when we're working remotely, that's not as easy. And it's especially if they don't know how to communicate that they're injured or sore. It's also a great way to dipstick your program in terms of what you're doing. Maybe you did a workout the day before, and then you notice the kids fill out the Ready to Work scale, and they're all sore the next day. And we go, okay, well, we need to change things up because I'm not a soreness person. There's no need to be sore when we're working out. We obviously want to work out hard and get performance, but soreness should be something that we're trying to avoid. Okay, so let's go through here and take a look at my questions, and then I'll show you how to create your questions. Okay, so our Ready to Work scale is built on, like I said, 5-point scale. 0 is always I'm feeling bad, and 5 I'm always feeling good. So here's go physically, how's your body feel? So I added images to each one to kind of dress this up. Okay, and you can see on that 5-point scale. Next thing we have is what's your overall soreness and pain level? Okay, I'm injured in a lot of pain, or I have no soreness and pain, each end of the scale, so the student would just click on one of those. All right, and I'm clicking on there. This isn't the live version of it. Okay, current level of fatigue. Again, I've tried to add some fun little pictures in there. We have one on stress. We have one on sleeping habits, and I thought it was very valuable to add a infographic about sleep and mood and mental focus and food intake. A picture of a big giant Chinese buffet. That's awesome. All right, and the nutritional quality of their food and how hydrated they are. I thought the urine color test graphic was really good here for that. You can kind of see the bones of this. Okay, somebody clicked on it. And then I have a couple just extra questions in here and a few short words. Tell me how you feel today and any injuries or illnesses. All right, so let's go. How did I create these? So I'm going to work backwards here now. So if I want to add a question, I click plus and I add a question. And that question is going to appear right here. Now you have several options as we look. For me, I'm doing a scale. All right, so that's going to be different, but I could do a multiple choice question. If we go up here, multiple choice is kind of the default, but we could do a short answer. We could do a paragraph. We could do multiple choice. We could do check boxes. We could do a drop down where you give them options. We could have this Google form be something they upload a file to. We could also, this is what we're working today, is a linear scale. And then we have a couple more advanced ones, multiple choice grids, checkbox grid. There's a place for the date and time. But as they answer this, these questions. It will timestamp it, and you can also collect their emails if you'd like. Notice I didn't have name on here. And I'm just going to collect their email addresses when I do this. And so I'll know who it is because they all have a Google account and their email address associated with it. And then I can sort the results and responses. And I'm looking at, we're not fully online yet. So we have about 20 kids that be online. So I'm creating things for those 20 kids to do asynchronously, which means not at the same time as my class. They can do them on their own. All right, so that's how we add that question. All right. And so it's fairly easy. And let's just say I want to add first name. So first name, it's not going to be a multiple choice question, and Google defaults and says, oh, okay, you want a short answer question. Yeah. And let's say we add a picture. If we picture what's my name, maybe we'll get something. All right. No, not what's my name of this symbol. Autocomplete's getting me. And I probably ought to type in what's my name. So let's see what pictures we get. If we get any picture, there we go. Or we could do this one. I like the hello, what my name is. All right. So we go first name, short answer. All right. And then we can do a really cool thing here. We can duplicate this question because now I want to do last name. All right. I do not want the same picture because that's boring. Okay. So what's my name again? All right, and taking a look at let's just go with this one right here. All right. Okay, so we have several questions. Now, the question would be, can I change the size of this? Yeah, absolutely. You can change the size of this. I can make this a little bit smaller. All right. And so it's not as big. Same with this one. I don't want the form to be super long. I can change the size of this one so that it doesn't take up a whole lot of space. Now, notice, I kind of got them out of order here. I probably want name first, all right? So easy, I can drag this question to the top. So, boom, I drag that question, take my last name question, drag it up, right there, obviously below. First name, last name. Okay, let's look at some other things that are on here. We could import questions if you have some questions from some other way. There is actually a way to take PDF forms. It's called Automagical. I don't have it because, again, if you remember from some of my other YouTube videos, we don't really believe in allowing the teachers to have extensions unless we request them. Never requested that one. We could add a title and description to the form. We could add an image to anywhere in here in the form. So let's say you wanted to have some sort of form where you had an infographic and then you had like 3 questions about that infographic. You could do that by just adding that image in as something to read and then 3 questions after that. In contrast to what we're doing here, we're adding an image to the question. All right. We can also add YouTube videos and we can add sections. So you could have section 1. Kids would all have to do section 1 and wouldn't allow them to move on to section 2. So you can section out your questions. We're not doing any of that today. All right. So that's how you create all of the questions and the format of your forms. You can do that in Google Classroom. Some people do not like to. I know that several people that I've watched, they don't like the way that integrates. And an important thing is there is a Google extension out there that will take your Google form or your Google Classroom grades, which Google Form, you could automate a quiz in Google Forms that grades and then updates into the Google Classroom grades. There is an extension, and I wish I could remember it. There's an extension that will let you take your Google Classroom grades and import them into PowerSchool. So if you're ever familiar with any of those, it's really difficult to do a Google Classroom. You grade everything in the Google Classroom, and then you've got to sit there with dual screens or something and try to input it in whatever you keep your grades in. We use PowerSchool, so that is something that I'm looking into. I have not done. I will do a video on it if I figure it out and I'm able to add it. Again, it's an extension. All right. So let's move me over here and let's take a look up here in the corner. I can customize my theme, and this is where I put my header image in. I can go theme colors. This is a color out here, so I could change this to some sort of red out here. I kind of like the blue. I can change my font styles. I can make it decorative, which I don't like, or playful. Playful is always kind of cool, so we'll leave it at playful. So it makes everything in that image. Okay, you have some customability, but not a lot, which is okay. All right, so there's themes. I can view this form, preview it live. Okay, so here's where it shows up. This is what my kids would see. Okay, and it tells them what's required and what's not. So if you look here, this asterisk right here means that this question is required. And if you notice, I didn't require the first and last name. Probably should. We'll go back to that. But this is, as we scroll through, what the form looks like for the kids to fill out. You don't have to put pictures in there, but I wanted to so that you could see how to do it. All right, so let's go back. Yikes. Let's edit this question. So all I have to do is click on it and slide over here, slide it over here, and that makes it required. All right, and required here. Again, we have a trash icon if we don't want to use it. And the three dots down here, we can show a description or response validation. Okay, so let's just click on that description. Okay, so a description adds a description to the question, a describer, maybe more instructions to the question. So we're going to click that. And then response validation, this would tell you that if they put in a number, or they put in text, what are they going to get back from that? I don't use response validation very much because I don't understand it very well. So sometimes when I don't understand it, so somebody smarter than me, please comment on there how to use that. Look at some settings here. We can collect email addresses. We're restricting this to USD 394 users. I once had a Twitter troll respond to one of my football forums. Kids that want to go out for football, he put himself in there. All right, and your respondents can edit. Yeah, we want to see that. And there's summary and text charts. We want to see that. And we don't want to limit to one response because we might do this weekly. All right. So those are some settings we have there. And if we come over here to responses, we don't have any responses yet, so I haven't sent this out. And I probably wouldn't show them to you anyways because it'd be my own students. But you'll get all your responses kind of show up in Google Forms in a kind of a report here. But I think the important thing over here is you can create a spreadsheet with all the responses and then track those as they come in. If you know the functionality of a Google form. So I clicked over here. You can get email notifications for new responses. Oh, I would not recommend doing that unless you want to get 1,000 emails. You can select response destination where it's supposed to go if you already have a form. And you can also download those if you're anti-Google, I guess. I don't know why you'd be doing this if you're anti-Google, but you could download these to a comma-separated value, which is basically an Excel sheet, or you could just clear the form by deleting all responses. All right, so we can do our things up here. We can move this to a folder. This is already, if I move it to a folder, it's already in the high school PE weights, personal fitness, distance learning folder, and I just have it kind of floating out there in the periphery of it. Again, if you have any questions on how to make a Google form, this won't be my only Google form that I show you, but this is the first one to kind of give you an introduction into it and show you the ready to work scale. So all those you out there trying to get ready to distance learn, good luck to you. I don't know if I'll be there very soon, but we're planning on starting in person, so we'll see how that goes. All right, take care.